Peace and welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, and I'll be working on communication. Let me just adjust this a little bit. I do realize that when I write, it's probably showing up backwards, but not to worry about that. I'll take a picture of it. For those of you who are in my House of Chi group, you will be able to get a picture of the notes after we're done. I'm just going to use this to keep track a little bit. Last couple of weeks, you should have been working on listening twice, speaking once for your communication. I'm going to review that right now before we get into the next segment of effective communication. Peace, everybody. If you're in the building, let me see your fairies. Let me see your fire emojis. Let me know where you're tuning in from. This is the House of Chi. All right. Let's see. Folks is here. I'm ready to get this work. Cool. What's up, Shannon? What's up, Tamika? How y'all doing? What's up, Vassy? I see y'all. So, today I have a little friend with me. I got a new dragon from one of my fairy godchildren. So, say hi. What's her name? Anora. Her name's Anora. Cool. She'll be here with me. And I'll be using my daughter's wand. Alright, so last 2 weeks ago, we talked about listening twice, speaking once. When someone, you're having a conversation with someone, we examined how effective it is, especially when communicating with someone that tends to be difficult to get across to. Difficulty in communication usually occurs when one person speaks and the other person is not interpreting the message in the intended way that the person wanted them to receive the information. You have two people. You have someone who is giving a message and you have someone who's supposed to receive it. And for whatever reason, which we are working to identify, that message is not being received in the way that we want it to be received. So before we work on somebody else and how they communicate, we are focusing on ourselves and how we communicate, how we receive information, how we process information, and how we deliver information. And in order to correct our own communication styles, we have to be able to filter out some of the murk and the muck, the ambiguity around what it is we're trying to say, and we have to create space for the other person or the other people to ask questions, to feel comfortable enough to ask or get it wrong. When we're communicating with people and they get it wrong, when we become defensive because they did not receive the information correctly, we already are losing in our ability to communicate clearly. People will get the message wrong all the time. And what we have to understand is, it's not always about you, the person. It has a lot to do with where the person is that you are communicating with. In this day and age, we're using text messages a lot, okay? We're using emails, we're writing to one another, and with these forms of communication, it's very hard to decipher emotions clearly, because when we read something, we are reading from our own disposition, okay? If I have an attitude and I perceive that there's an issue, anything you write to me that is not definitive of a positive attitude, like I love you, a smiling emoji, here's a hug. I can interpret your information as you engaging in the attitude that I have already. And this is some of the issue that most of us are having. So we started with listening twice, speaking once. So when someone speaks to you, you want to take the information in and begin by saying, what I heard you say was blah, blah, blah. What I understand from that is blah, 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 right? And once they confirm and say, yes, that is what I said and that is what I meant, from that place of clarity, then you are in a position to respond. One, you've already taken the time to slow down the reactionary period, where emotions can push us to just explode and react in a way that may not be necessary or may work against the outcome you're looking for. How many times have y'all heard that? That makes sense. Let me see some ones in the chat. How many times have you responded too quickly? You thought you were responding, but you were reacting too quickly and ended up cutting communication and never being able to reach the outcome that you had in mind in the first place for the discussion you wanted to have. Right. Good. So in asking the question after saying what I heard you say was blah, 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 and this is what I gathered from it, blah, 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 you're breathing, right? You're slowing down the communication and getting curious, because now what happens if they say, no, you're getting it wrong? And this is some of the language we're going to get to today. No, you're getting it wrong. My people, my students, we're not going to say, no, you're getting it wrong. I'm going to write that down. No. You're wrong. And I'll explain to you why we're going to move away from no, you're wrong. Okay? It might be clear to some people already if you've been really practicing and just reflecting, but I'm not going to assume that you already get it. Okay? But let's say this person in front of you says, no, you're wrong. Instead of, yes, absolutely, you've got the message. This is what I'm talking about. No, you're wrong. Okay, one, I need you to snap back to reality that you're creating. When someone says no, there's going to be an instinct inside of your body that wants them to know. Breathe, shift. Observe what's going on, shift. You're wrong. Understand that the information that you're trying to process belongs to someone else. Your being wrong is not a personal attack. You are in the process of trying to understand someone else's language. So if they say you've got it wrong, you have to insert a bit of humility to understand that if someone is speaking to you in their language, they've mastered their language you're trying to learn it. From that position, you have no beef with being wrong. You're curious. You're still trying to learn. You're still open to getting to the stage where you can fluidly understand what they're saying and respond effectively so you can get what you need. Even when you're trying to provide a need to someone else, it's you who has the need to provide. Okay? Pardon me. Are you following so far? Let me know if you're following that so far. When you provide and someone creates space for you to get curious about them and to hear what it is that they need, it's still you satisfying your need. All right? So we did that. If they say no, you're getting it wrong, you ask a question. You say, can you repeat it for me? Identify which parts of the getting wrong so that I can get it, because I have a desire to connect with you. I have a desire to see where you are. When you stand in front of someone and you let them know that you have a desire to see them, to be intimate. Intimacy is to see into the person. Into me you see. Intimacy. You desire to create connection, a deep understanding. It starts to pull away some of the walls that have been built to protect the individual from being hurt by miscommunication. All of us have been there. So there's a level of passion and empathy if you've already experienced that of disconnection. Okay? So let's fast forward the last 2 weeks that's on. Listening twice, once, and responding from a place of greater clarity. Are you all able to hear me? See me clearly. Ones if it's a yes, twos if it's choppy and you're having trouble. Cool. All right, great. The reason why I want us to move away from no, you're wrong is because at the end of the day, we only argue because as human beings, we want to be right. We have an ego. We're not going to shoot the ego dead. What we want to do is make sure that the ego is at the end of this leash. Okay? I spoke about this before. The ego does not need to have you by the throat. You don't want this. Because anytime the ego feels like someone threatening you, it's going to wrap you up and show you more. Your ego at the end of the time will see decide or sick it. This is all you have is in your life. So when we speak with others and we say, no, you're wrong, automatically we're setting off the ego to say, if I'm wrong, now I gotta fight you to get right. This is not gonna help us be effective communicators. I'm gonna get on the other side of it. One way to disarm someone who feels like they're wrong when it's to you is this. Rather than saying no, you say yes. I hear you. And get how you came up with that. And okay? Yes, I hear you. And how you came up with that. Okay? You can use and, you can just leave period. And go further and explain again what it is you wanted to get. The reason why you say yes is because people who are not practicing this, okay? We're talking about being effective communicators. Leadership in family, leadership at your job, leadership in your company, leadership in your friendships, okay? The people you're working with, they are probably 99% of the time still places need validation. Give them the validation because you have a goal, and the goal is for you to get across a point so that they understand, not agree, so that they understand. Because from understanding, you can get way more done than a bunch of people that agree with you. Because through the understanding your point, through the understanding how to get done, someone may be able to offer you a suggestion that's better than the idea you have. We don't. We give you something. So today's lesson is you yes and. Yes and. Yes and. Yes, I hear you. And recognize the way that their minds processed something. It can be processed differently than you processed it. At the same time, when you're breathing and taking the time to effectively and actively listen to the individual, you can actually listen and observe how they're processing the information that you gave them. That's why it's true. You can get and you can understand where they're coming from. And, or, period. Repeat what it is that you wanted them to understand. Listen closely to where they are, in fact, getting it wrong. In your mind, where they're getting it wrong. And highlight the correction in repeating what your idea is or was. You got that? Let me see some ones if you're getting this so far. If you're understanding the power of and, yes, and. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So, I think that our lesson is done for today. We've reviewed listen twice, speak once, okay? And now you have the power of yes and. What I want you to do in the House of Chi is I want you to reflect on a conversation where you now were the person trying to convey a message, trying to get someone to understand you, okay? And you could have utilized yes and I want you to use it and see how the results are different. Today is Wednesday. We highlight the Mercury energy, so use it amongst your friends, okay? Use it amongst your things. Use it amongst your children. We have, some of you have teenagers. I have teenagers. And a lot of times, Virgos are very, very sensitive because they're in a state of their development where they feel like they're constantly under ridicule. They're constantly getting things wrong. In school, amongst their friends, they want to be cool, they want to be accepted. We can offer more validation inside of our own homes in a healing place to build more love, compassion, understanding. Then we can definitely have the kind of structure that's necessary for all the people coming out of your squad to be effective out in the world. Solid individuals. Okay? So that's it for y'all today. I love y'all. Peace, love, and bliss. Before you get out of here, I'm sure you know that I have meditation at the DMV this Sunday, January 27th at 6 p.m. We're definitely going in. We're going to be working on a new meditation, a new sticker. We're going to be doing stickers. For those of you who came to the very first circle we did stickers. They're absolutely powerful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Alright? Peace, love, and bliss, y'all. I'll later. Peace.